hopefully we'll get this posted into an actual video over the next little bit. Wanted to stitch a couple of things together here. Out with the 2025 here again, I've got a ram air intake showing up. I was going to show the impact of that on the quarter mile times. So we're going to go out and see if I can find a quiet spot of road here. I can make a rip this morning without annoying everybody. Try to get a good baseline on the current tune we're on. I did make some changes here just in case on the ram air intake. It does clip some of the limits that are on the factory. So depending upon what the efficiency of this thing is, I haven't played with one of these before, so we're going to find out together. It might actually push what it appears to be a pound or two of boost into it. So I upped a couple of the maximums just to make sure we don't clip it when we turn it on. That's not to say that you have to tune a vehicle to put the ram air intake on. But I'll let you know during this video what we find out. How much did it actually come up? Did it actually do what they're saying it's going to do? We'll try to make this as fair as possible on the comparison. But we'll go out here, get a good baseline rip on the set of road I've been using for this. Truck's been running in the 13.3s pretty consistently. Still having a little bit of issue with 60 foot. Just made some more changes to that. So we're gonna go out and try this and see if the 60 foot is now functional again. So more video here shortly. So just going out for a drive to let this thing warm up a little bit. One of the things I did do, I reset my adaptives on the transmissions again. The adaptives are a lot better in the newer ones than they were in the 2020s and the Gen 3s. And Ford keeps making changes to them, but they do leave a little bit to be desired as far as how it learns what the shifts are going to look like. So one suggestion I found that I got from some of the guys that play with Midnight and the team down there is to reset the adaptives before any passes out of the track. Again, the 10R80, it's great for what it is, but when you're going out and trying to consistently run a pass, like, the adaptives get in your way from time to time. So I would suggest that if you're going out to race your truck and you've got an HB Tuners device, even with the RTD4s, which, you know, technically those don't allow you to actually see the tune or play with it, but you can install a VCM scanner on your laptop and then plug into it, and you can use the full logging function. If that's something of interest to you, let me know. I can help you set up the channels as part of my customers. Or you can try to download the channel config that comes off of the RTD. But chat with me, send me a note, I'll help you do it. To that end, that RTD device does let you reset your adaptive. So if you just go to key on and then go into the, I forget what it's called, it's on the vehicle, and then it's like diagnostics and special functions or something like that. Click on the transmission tab and you'll see an option to reset your adapters. So again, I would suggest if you're going to go out and drag race your truck, hit the reset adaptives after each one of your passes, and that should help with the transmission randomly deciding to do weird things and how it wants to shift. Okay? Again, it builds up a memory, it keeps track of this stuff. That was the way Ford did this, so it'll do some automatic things. You can feel right now, maybe in the video you can't, but sorry, you can't feel it, but I can. I just reset my adapters before I go made this rip, and it is doing a little bit of surge things here occasionally where it's trying to hunt for a different gear. So it's just trying to figure itself out again at the track. Like if you just go out and floor the thing, it's going to take off and not use any adaptive logic. So just a little hint and tip for you as you go through this. Get the video going here again when we get up here and try to make a rip. I'll probably turn it on to the draggy itself and see what it does. All right, made a rookie mistake in the last one. Forgot to turn off the frickin' defroster with the AC running. We're gonna try this again. Also, launching these things is a little interesting. You don't want to get too far onto the brake and everything else or it kills the 60 foot. So I got a new flash going on here. Was trying to make some adjustments to some of my fueling, and it seems like the change was not in a positive direction. So I was getting some pretty lean spikes there in that rip. So I've gone back and reverted some changes and see if that fixes the issue I was running into. Again, this is why I got the truck, to test some of this stuff out, see what the changes do. What I changed shouldn't have done what it did. So we'll make another rip here, see if it cleaned it up. And if not, I might have some other issues going on with the truck again. All right, I think that might have fixed what I had done. I made some changes to my DI-PI blend, was just seeing what it would do, and it didn't like it. I was running into some real lean spikes, even at just sitting here at idle. So just reflash the map. It's still in high idle, so you can see we're still up here at 1250. But last time I did this and started the truck up, my trims were quite a bit leaner, so it was positive. So it was trying to throw like 8 to 10% fuel more to it. So we'll go try this again, see if it fixed my little issue that I created. And we'll see if we get my 13.3 again or something a little bit quicker that I was hoping for. All right, made a short rip here just a second ago. Seems like it's better. We're gonna make a quick hit right here.
30. 60. Quarter mile. Half mile.
Still a bit slow. We're gonna have to go back and take a look at a little bit more of this and see where I've lost my 2/10 from. Definitely on the 0 to 60 is slow right now, so might be that the attempt at changing some cam timing to pick up some of the bottom torque is just not working. So we'll make another rip around to the house and change this up and try again. All right, everyone. We'll see how much of the video from yesterday I end up using. Went to go do some things. One, FedEx didn't show up when they said they were going to, so I didn't get my ram air intakes. So I kind of put a pause on everything. Two, I ended up chasing an issue I created in my tune file. And this is, if you guys are going to try to tune your own vehicles, things to kind of understand. A lot of the power that you can gain up top on these Fords on the Coyote platform is by manipulating the variable valve timing. On these things, you can change both the exhaust and the intake. And what you're trying to do is create a certain amount of overlap. And if you increase the overlap too far in the wrong spot, you get what's called reversion. And what I had managed to do, and one of the things I was messing with on the street, and I should have been doing on the dyno on my own vehicle, but I wanted to see if I could pick it up a little bit with just playing with the draggy times. The answer is not really. It was much more effective when we were on the dyno to figure it out. But I created some reversion. And what that looked like in my logs was all my fuel trims all of a sudden went really lean. So I was chasing that for about 2 hours trying to figure it out, and then I remembered that I had been manipulating the cam timing, and I had probably gone too far on my exhaust cam advance and retard. So I rolled some stuff back on it. I'm gonna go out and try to make a hit here real quick. The DA's dropped significantly. It's really cold. As long as everything is not icy, should be able to make a rip on some safe pavement out here. See what the truck does now that I've got that fixed and pulled back, and that'll give us our baseline, and hopefully my cold air intake will, or not my cold air intake, sorry, my ram air intake will either show up today or worst case on Monday, but the weather's supposed to stay in this chilly region that'll give me a DA around 500 instead of the usual 1500 to 2500 that I'm dealing with there in Spokane, where the elevation says it's 2,500 feet where I'm making my hits. All right, guys, next video I'll have you on the draggy and see what we do. All right, here we go. Let's see if this works here this morning.
30. 60.
Whatever. take that. Best run, 500 fleet DA, full weight truck, stock wheels, STX wheels, which are really heavy. Might try one more run with my drag radials in the back, but I can't put them on the front because the offset requires spacers. But we might try a 2-wheel drive rip and see if it'll actually take off in 2-wheel drive or not. All right, so we're gonna do the ram air intake install here really quick. You'll notice this piece here just pushes out, so I was able to push it out. If you hit it a couple of times, it'll pop it loose, just gently from behind there. So if you go in behind, down under, back here, you can push this out. That'll pop it loose, and then you can use a screwdriver gently, hopefully without damaging it, like that, and get the other side off as well. Then we got this loose, and then I'm going to pull this on out of here, and we should be able to put the ram air intake right behind that. All right, the cold air intake is installed. I'm not liking the way this sits in here. I'm not sure where the bolt holes were designed to go to because nothing under here lines up. If I can get down here. So you can see like the corners there doesn't line up with any of this. So basically this thing just kind of sits under here from what I can tell. And then I'm not liking the fitment up here. You can see we're getting really tight to that hose and squishing it. And that doesn't really fit on there either. So if somebody has installed one of these before and wants to comment what I made a mistake on here, but the fitment on this leaves a lot to be desired on how this all went together. And then I'm assuming the breather went on the PCV piece there. So there's again no directions to go with this. So I pulled the little plastic tube out of my existing S&B intake and took the little breather and threaded it on there. You can see it a little bit better from over here where it's stuck down in there right now. But again, not a big fan of how that's kind of crushed down in there. And then I think my 90 at the bottom is somewhat okay. Anyway, we're gonna go make a rip, see if this thing does anything that it claims, or if like half of the internet, the claims are largely inflated. So let's see what this does. All right, so we went out and made a rip. Same piece of pavement as yesterday. The DA's actually gone up about 200 feet. Yesterday it was like 300 or 400. Today it was at like 650. The truck ran faster. We picked up it did pick up a full 2 miles an hour in the quarter-mile rip. The video will be inserted in here before I go through all this. So it went from running a 13.31 at 103.5 yesterday to running a 13, I believe it was a 1.9 at 105.5 today. So 0.12 drop on the ram air intake and 2 miles an hour. So the claims that all motor labs have definitely works with that. I am waiting on the intake. I'm doing a ported GT intake on this thing as well. We're going to try that. See if we can get this thing up over 110 in the quarter-mile trap and something into the 12s. Naturally aspirated, basic bolt-ons, set of headers, an exhaust, intake, ram air. You're talking $3,500 in parts, and probably, what would it be? About $800 for the tuning, right? So to have a full size, and basically this thing is the same weight and size as a crew cab short box from Ford, to be able to run a 12-second quarter mile on one of those trucks on E85. Had a couple of interesting things I want to show you here in the logs, just a couple of comparisons I was doing so you can kind of get an idea of how this works. It does look like it would work perfectly fine on any tune. Didn't really need to make some modifications to this. I thought it might pick up a little bit more on the amount of pressure coming into the ram air intake where it'd trip some of the stuff, but it only added a couple of points on the map pressure. Normally I'm seeing like 13.1 in most logs, and on this thing it showed 13.4. So hold on, I'm going to switch the camera. Here you can see during the run, pay no attention to the dip there. I'm still having a little bit of issue with one shift in the transmission where it wants to do that. Once I get that figured out, it's going to run even quicker. It does it on each one of them still so far, but on the map, you can see there that I was making 13.4. I'll pull up the other log here in just a second to show you. Of course, that turns off right there. And you'll also notice the air load is at 0.938. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is when you look at the desired air mass, we're up at 852 pounds per second. So these are going to change a bit when I show you the other log. So hold on one sec. So here we can see about a similar spot in a log on a 13.34 that I did. So one of the other runs, I think I forgot the 13.31 to save it. But you can see on the map, we're at 13.1, whereas in the other one, we were up at 13.4. The air load is 0.876. And when we come down here and look at our desired air mass, the desired air mass was quite a bit lower. All right. So everything indicates that the ram air intake is definitely sucking some more air in here. The other thing I'll notice too, my IATs were at about 60 degrees before. And when I go back over and look at the latest one, my IATs during this run were at 51 to 52 degrees. So the air charge coming into the truck from the ram air dropped a solid 10 degrees. So you can see up here, yep, whoops, if I get over here, right, my IAT went right across there at about 52, whereas in the other log, it was definitely upwards higher than that. So I'm going to end the video right here. Thanks for following along on this. Hopefully I'll actually get a full YouTube on this one and some content uploaded. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, follow along. We'll put the intake manifold on next as soon as I get it from All Motor Labs.